Welcome to another episode of Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. It's week number 5 of a 7-week regular season. It all leads up to a double elimination postseason tournament, and that's where we will crown a Battle Axe champion. If you're new to the program, before we get the competition started here today, let's go over the rules. All of those rings are worth 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points. The bullseye is worth 6 points, and then those rings we're circling right now, those are worth 6 points as well. Other bullseyes, you can only score the 6 on a bullseye one time on each half of a match, so after you score 6 on it, you have to try and get the other bullseyes. The small blue dot on the outermost ring, that's worth 8 points. We call it the kill shot. At any point during a match, you can go for it. If you hit it, you get the 8 points. But if you miss it, you get nothing. It's high risk, high reward, Bobby.
Absolutely. A great way for people to come back into the game if they got to make up some points. We've seen a lot of our competitors being really aggressive, getting used to going for that kill shot. And it's definitely something I think we're going to be seeing here this week and into the tournament.
Yeah, you're going to have that kill shot in your arsenal if you want to win this, Bobby.
Absolutely. This is the Bustin' Axe Championship Trophy here. As you can see, this little baby is going to be going home with the champion of the double elimination tournament. Currently held by Matt Bradshaw, but as we've seen Joey from the league going on, there's a lot of challengers coming for that trophy and a lot of people going for that crown.
Look at that baby sparkle and shine. Breathtaking. Well, before we get started, let's take a look at the latest standings after 4 weeks of competition. It's Bradshaw leading the way, unbeaten on the season, 20-0, averaging more than 56 points per game.
Yeah, Matt's really gotten his game honed in. He's going for those outside bullseyes and then, of course, going for those consistent kill shots as well. But as you can see right behind him, Joey, Leroy Kedley at 15-5, averaging 46.6 points per match. So definitely a competitor that's challenging Matt. And as you can see there, after that, it's Michelle Fremmel, Ann Welp, Justin Smith, Eric Schizzle, Jill Kedley, Gina Feenstra, Beth Jen, and Nancy Kramer.
That is a look at the top 10. A lot of formidable competitors here, all looking to win that championship. Let's get things started here in week number 5. Our first matchup of the day, it's going to be Leroy Kedley. He'll be taking on Jill Kedley.
Classic husband and wife matchup here. Jill coming in at 10-10, being really aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes, still trying to hone in her game, but she's definitely making great strides. And with Leroy Kedley coming in at 15-5, gets that match started off with a nice bullseye.
Well, a great start for the Kedleys here. Leroy with the early advantage after throwing a bullseye. Leroy, unlike his wife Jill, has not been as aggressive when it comes to those outside bullseyes. We'll see if he starts getting aggressive with the postseason right around the corner.
Well, he's mentioned that he's wanted to do it, so he's kind of been playing each match, letting the match kind of dictate what his strategy is going to be, but it's a nice, what would have been a bullseye in leagues past there for Leroy, but a 5. He has a 1-point lead going into the third throw.
So still throwing it right down the middle. Now he goes outside and just missed that bullseye, so a chance here for Jill to pick up some points, but she throws a 4 as well, so Leroy clinging to that 1-point lead after 3 throws.
Yeah, Jill just holding on to the axis a little bit too long. On her second throw, Joey, though, that was very close to being a bullseye. So, unfortunately for her, she wasn't able to pick up that point, but Leroy returns to the middle of the board.
Yeah, Leroy Kedley, incredibly comfortable when it comes to throwing right at that center bullseye. He can hit that with remarkable accuracy, and it's paid off this season. It's got him 15 wins.
Yeah, at this point in the match, he's up by 3. Happy to play the board. It's really the pressure's all on Jill here to find that bullseye and then start hitting those outside bullseyes to make up some points here on Leroy.
So Jill Kedley still looking for her first bullseye of the match.
Off the mark, it looks like that's going to be a 4. And popping through the bottom part of that blade there for Leroy Kedley, so able to pick up another point.
Leroy Kedley will take a 4-point advantage into the second half. He'll switch sides with Jill, and we are all set to go here in the second half of the Kedley Showdown.
And, of course, Jill doesn't want to just trade points. She wants to start to make up some points here on Leroy, but we have seen Jill be very aggressive going for that kill shot, so she can make up those points via that route if she deems it necessary.
So Leroy Kedley still up 5, 4 throws to go. Jill Kedley needs to get hot here.
You can see Leroy kind of holding on to the axe a little bit too long. You can see him try to replicate his throw a little bit. Try to find that consistent middle because that's a couple 4s there on his scorecard, something we're not used to seeing from Leroy.
Now that was a 4 for Jill Kedley as well, but That's right where you want to miss
Correct.
if you're going to miss. Not far from the bullseye. A much better throw from Jill Kedley. That one gets away from her. Looks like she hung onto that axe just a little too long. It sailed high.
And Leroy's going to get a closer look here. That's very close to being a 6 if it's popping through on the left-hand side. He has not hit his bullseye here on this side of the lane. So it looks like Cody's going to come in here and get a closer look. As we can see there from the action cam, though, Joey, it looks like there is just a little bit of space popping through. So that's going to be a 5 confirmed.
That's all it takes, just a sliver of wood on both sides of the blade, and you get the score.
Yep, and as you can see there, though, from that side action shot, though, it looks like he got that one. But it was a very, very small part of that board popping through. And Jill was going for the kill shot. We'll see. She's shaking her head no.
She missed it by a matter of centimeters.
Yeah, it was very close. You can see she's not going to challenge. Disappointed knowing that was going to be a huge throw.
She's going to go up again. We'll see if Leroy does. He does as well. So a fun way to end this one between the Kedleys.
Yeah, and just for Jill, if she can hit this kill shot, it's going to be so much better for her confidence going into other matches here. And she is off the mark, and Leroy's pretty close as well. But
couple of good attempts there on the kill shots from the Kedleys. It's Leroy getting the victory over Jill, 44-31, the final score.
Yeah, so Leroy will improve his record to 16-5. For him, I think there's a little too many 4s on the scorecard here. He was able to regain his control and had a nice bullseye there on the 9th throw. Going for that kill shot, he wasn't off by very much, but he does improve his record to 16-5. And for Jill Kedley, she just couldn't take advantage of Leroy's mistake. She got 3 threes there on that scorecard. She was aggressive going for that kill shot there on the 9th and the 10th throw, but she's been making that progression, Joey, to move into that 5 and 6 ring consistently. And then to start finding those other bullseyes, it's just putting it all together with 10 consistent throws. So she is making the progressions that champions make, and I'm excited to see her in the Week 8 Double Elimination Championship.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing both of these two get into that postseason. Next up, it's Gina Feenstra taking on Nancy Kramer.
Yeah, so Nancy Kramer coming into the league, or coming into Week 5 at 6-14, really making some impressive strides with her game, mainly eliminating the drops, Joey.
We'll see how she does here against Gina Feenstra, who's also made some nice progress throughout this season. A great start here for Nancy Kramer. She hits the bullseye to take a 2-point advantage in the early goings.
Well, and for any thrower, Joey, they're always searching for that consistency. You know, when we watch Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, he's a model of consistency. And for these competitors, just making that progression, living in that 4, 5, and 6 ring is the kind of progression that they're looking to make. They want to eliminate drops and eliminate 3s and 2s and 1s.
We'll see if that is a bullseye, and it is.
Nice.
So Gina Feenstra answers with a bullseye of her own, and that ties the match at 10.
Yeah, so Gina with a nice bullseye there on the 2nd throw. We'll see how Nancy responds. And now holding on to the axe just a little bit too long. And for Gina, we'll see if that's a 4 popping through, but it is ruled a 3, the bottom part of that blade not popping through, Joey.
Love seeing Feenstra and Kramer both getting aggressive, though, going for that outside bullseye. They missed it, but those are the kind of shots you're going to have to make in the postseason if you want to make a deep run.
Looks like a couple 4s there for each competitor.
All right, 5th throw.
So
Gina,
still a
you're up by
1-point lead
1.
here for Gina Feenstra after 4 throws.
Yeah, and so we've seen, different competitors have different strategies for going for those outside bullseyes. We've seen Beth Jen kind of start off on those outside bullseyes and then make her way back into the middle. So there's no right or wrong way to go about it.
Gina.
The best way to go about it is to hit them.
Hit them. Yes,
right,
exactly that, Joey.
As long as you're doing that, you're doing it right.
Exactly.
So Gina Feenstra will take a 1-point lead into the second half here against Nancy Kramer. We've got a good one going.
Well, and I don't want to jinx anybody, but their blade is hitting flush into the wood. And if that's happening, we can eliminate what we dare not speak, Joey.
Second half underway, and Nancy Kramer gets it off with a nice start. Gina Feenstra
right,
with a
6
nice
and
answer as
5.
well. It's a bullseye
Nice
for
shot.
Kramer, a 5 for Feenstra. She just missed the
All
bullseye.
right,
Yeah, Nancy with 2
ladies
bullseyes
are
already
tied
on her
at
scorecard
27.
going into the 7th
On to
throw.
7.
Really putting some pressure here on Gina and keeping this match close.
Yeah, we are all tied up. 27 all, 4 throws to go. Nancy Kramer can no longer score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see if she opts to go outside here.
Well, I think she's going to let Gina kind of dictate her pace.
4 and a 5.
As long as Gina doesn't start running away with this, she's going to be comfortable playing the middle of that board. And as you can see there, she's able to pick up a point there on Gina Feenstra.
32-31, Kramer with the lead. Feenstra can still score 6 on the center bullseye. She could really use it right about now.
Yeah, and for Nancy, she doesn't have to go outside, and that's a great throw there by Gina. That's at least a 5,
Nancy.
possibly a 6.
Bullseye.
Yeah, Feenstra going to get at least a point. She's going to pick up 2 points here on Nancy Kramer. So
All right, throw
just
number
like that, a
9.
1-point
Gina's up by
deficit
1.
for Feenstra becomes a 1-point advantage.
Correct, so you got to wonder if Nancy's going to be thinking about going for one of those outside bullseyes, banking on Gina to throw a 4 or 5. She might have been just off the mark, and I think we just saw
4 and
Gina being
4.
aggressive going for that outside bullseye as well, Joey.
Last throw.
So it's going to come down to
Gina's
this.
still up by
Gina
1.
Feenstra leading by 1 over Nancy Kramer heading into the 10th throw.
Well, this is where I'd like Nancy just to wait for Gina to throw. She doesn't have to throw before her, but she's not going to waste any time. She's going to stick it right there in the bullseye. It's going to be a 5, but great throw.
Feenstra's got to get a 5, if not sudden death
5 and
or
a 2.
that. And just like that, Nancy
Nancy
Kramer
takes that.
gets the
45,
win.
43.
That axe gets away from Gina Feenstra, and it cost her.
Yeah, I think it was initially ruled a 4. She's going to get a closer look, though. It's going to be a 3. It's going to be all for naught, but we have to
3.
keep the score there for the record books, Joey.
Yeah, had that been a 4, we would have been going to sudden death. Instead, it's Nancy Kramer getting the win on the final throw.
Yeah, so Nancy Kramer with some really high-pressure throws here. Joey, these are the kind of throws that we have in Week 5 that we're going to see a bunch here in Week number 8. For Nancy, she did a great job of being the aggressor. She really pulled away. She played the board very nicely. A couple bullseyes there on her first and her 6th throw with a nice score of 45. And then for Gina, she just had those 2 threes there on her 3rd and her 10th throw. The axe kind of getting away from her a little bit. Inconsistent release point, but she did have those 2 bullseyes there on her 2nd and 8th throw. And so just locking in that consistent release point is the next step for both these competitors. But what a great match.
Yeah, what a great way to get things started here in week number 5. Much more Battle Axe still to come. Stay tuned. We'll bring it to you here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. I'm Joey Daniel alongside Bobby Bradford. We're coming to you as always from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. It's week number 5 of a 7-week regular season, and it's all leading up to a double elimination postseason tournament. That's where we'll crown a Battle Axe champion. Next up here in week 5, it's Michelle Frummelt taking on Jill Kedley. We just saw Jill come up short against her husband Leroy. We'll see how she does here against Michelle Frummelt, who's been having a nice season.
Absolutely. Michelle's at 11-9. Really been a consistent thrower. And it looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Michelle and possibly a 4 for Jill if it's popping through on the left-hand side of that blade. But ruled a 3. So not the start that Jill Kedley was looking for.
Michelle Frummelt out to the early lead here. She's been really consistent. She used to struggle with drops, but she's really eliminated that from her game.
Absolutely, Joey. And those the progressions of players. The more you throw, the more consistent your release point becomes. And you start working on the problems that you have. But a nice throw there by Jill Kedley. Going to be a 5, so able to make up a couple points there and take an 8-7 lead going into the 3rd throw.
Well, a good one going here early on between Michelle Frummelt and Jill Kedley, and a great throw there from Frummelt. That axe gets away from Kedley, sails high. We'll see if it's a 4. It's awfully close to being a 3.
Yeah, you can see, you can hear Michelle say, wow, that axe just sailing on her a little bit. Definitely something that she doesn't want to have.
I'm going to have to get my eyes checked, Bobby. That was a 2 from Jill
2.
Kedley. So a big mistake there from Kedley. Frummelt taking full advantage.
Yeah, so again, Jill with a 3. This is something that we saw in your matchup with Leroy, just being aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes, but kind of losing your consistent release point has been a problem here for Jill as week 5 has started. But fortunately for her, though, Michelle's really not pulling away with this thing. She's not hitting her normal consistent shot as well, and only has a 2-point lead going into the turn here.
We'll see how things go in the second half between Michelle Frummelt and Jill Kedley as they switch sides and get set to go here in the second half And a shaky start there from Michelle Frummel. We'll see if Kedley takes advantage, but she doesn't.
Yeah, I think
She might pick up a point here. Depends on this ruling from Cody.
it is ruled a 3, so Jill is able to pick up a point, very close to being a 4. But these are high-pressure throws, Joey. We always talk about being the aggressor in the match. You want your opponent to be chasing you. You don't want to chase your opponent. And for Michelle, she's just not able to take advantage of Jill's mistakes here. And as you can see, Jill is taking advantage of Michelle's mistakes. So able to get back in this matchup and take a 1-point lead going into the 8th throw.
Going to come down to the final 3 throws here between Kedley and Frummel. Both of them have the 6 points available if they can hit the center bullseye.
And now it's very important here for Jill to just focus up on the middle of that board. Great throw.
Right on cue.
Love it when they do what I say, Joey. But Cody's going to get a closer look. It's a pretty big ruling here. And rules it as her 4th consecutive 3, Joey. Wow.
So this one's starting to get away from Michelle Frummel. She's going to need a really hot finish, and she'll need a couple mistakes from Kedley as well.
Yeah, she wants to stay within striking range in case to go for a kill shot. And she is able to pick up a point here on Jill Kedley going into the last throw. Do you go for the kill shot, Joey, banking on Jill to hit a 5 or less?
I would love to see it, but Michelle's going to just play the board. She throws a 4, and Kedley delivers the dagger. It's Jill Kedley, the victor, over Michelle Frummel, 39-36.
Well, Joey, we talk all the time about how a match can come down to just a throw or two, and as you can see there on the scorecard, it was the 7th and 8th throws for both competitors. Jill throwing a 5 and then a 6, and Michelle throwing 4 consecutive 3s that really allowed Jill to come back in this game. Kudos to Jill Kedley. She was able to keep being the aggressor, keep throwing up consistent points on the board. And then for Michelle, it just seemed like out of the gate, she never really found her footing. You know, way too many 3s on the scorecard for her liking. Not a single bullseye, only the 1-5 there on her 3rd throw. So an uncharacteristic performance here from Michelle Frummel to get the night started, but maybe these are some of the kinks that you got to get worked out in your first match, and Jill took what she learned in her first match and definitely delivered here in her second.
Jill Kedley getting to 500 on the season at 11-11. Next up, we've got Beth Jen taking on Gina Feenstra.
Yeah, so we saw Gina go up against Nancy Kramer, falling 45-44 in her first match. This is Beth Jen's first matchup at 7-13. And it looks like that's a 4 there to get the night started there for Beth, and the axe getting away from Gina, but close to that outside bullseye.
Yeah, she'll want to have that later on if she can hit the center bullseye, I'm sure.
Right.
But a shaky start here from Beth Jen and Gina Feenstra. We'll see if they get back on track here with throw number 2.
Looks like a 4 there for Beth again, and another holding on to that axe a little bit too long. You can see Gina kind of stretching her elbow out. I wonder if there's something bothering her a little bit.
Not a bad miss there from from Beth Jen, I should say. Was a 4, but she didn't miss that 5 ring by all that much.
Right. Yeah, she's got a nice consistent release point, just getting it dialed in, and that is not a consistent release point. That is a 1. So Gina overcorrecting, and you can see, Joey, that's what happens sometimes. When you hold on to the axe a little bit too long, you know, when you throw low, you try to release a little too soon, then you end up throwing high. She's got to find that nice place in the middle.
We'll see if Gina Feenstra can find her rhythm here on throw number 4.
Moving in the right direction.
5 and 4.
But for Beth, she is able to get a 5 there on her 4th throw, so she is up 17-11.
All right, 5th throw. Beth is up.
Best throw of the day from Beth Jen as well, her first 5. She's got a commanding lead over Gina Feenstra.
You can see there, that's another nice throw there by Beth Jen. A better throw there for Gina Feenstra as well. That could be a bullseye if it's popping through on the bottom side of that blade there for Beth Jen.
Gina.
But Gina, I think it was initially ruled a 4. I think Gina
All right, touch him up.
wants a second look here, as we can see from our side cam. That could be popping through on the top part of that blade, Joey. She needs all the
bring in
points.
Cody to get another look here.
Yeah, she needs all the points she can get here. So if there's even a sliver of a chance, pun intended, that that wood's popping through, she's going to take it.
The agony of waiting.
Oh, you can see there, Joey. I think that's popping through. It's very, very close.
Still 4.
No, he's going to uphold his ruling. Gino will respect it and then go into the turn down 22-15.
So for Beth Jen, just keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Keep your foot on the gas and cruise to victory.
Yeah, for Beth Jen, I mean, she's been really consistent with her throw. She hasn't found a bullseye yet, which I'm sure is something she's not too pleased with, but that could be one right there. Oh, and I think Gina hit that one. I don't know if she was going for it or not, but she did hit that bullseye.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Right.
And a bullseye for Gina Feenstra.
Ooh.
And we'll see if this is a bullseye for Beth Jen.
I think it was initially ruled a bullseye, but then Beth got
All
up a
right, 5.
closer look and saw that it was a
for Beth.
5. So despite being very close, she wants to get those bullseyes honorably. And Gina able to pick up a point on that bullseye. She still has that center bullseye available, Joey.
Well, a great throw there from Beth Jen once again.
Right.
For Gina.
That one gets away from Feenstra a little bit. It's a 4. We'll see if this time Jen got the bullseye.
Something tells me I think, that's a lot closer from the side cam there than it did from
Bullseye, Beth.
the wide, but it is ruled a bullseye, so Beth able to get a couple points, 33-25.
Well, with an 8-point
All right, throw
lead,
number
Beth
8.
Jen can get a little risky here if she wants to go for the kill shot. Same thing for Gina Feenstra.
Yeah. The other thing to consider too, Joey, is that, we're in week 5. The tournament's right around the corner. We have a
Bullseye,
jockey for
4.
positioning, and points are what really determine the seeding here. So maybe she wants to put as many positive points on the board. She's in a good flow. But we do like to see him go for the kill shot, though.
Yeah, there's nothing better than watching these competitors go for the kill shot.
Would have been a really consistent round here for Beth Jen. All of her throws up until this point have been pretty much within
4
inside,
and 3.
a general area.
All right, last
wild
throw.
axe is going on.
Gina's up by 10.
So Beth Jen looking to put an exclamation point on this one against Gina Feenstra. We'll see if she can close it out strong.
And normally we'd like Gina to go for the kill shot, but her axe has just been so erratic in this match that you'd just like to have a positive throw there, and you can see it looks like a 4, but pretty good release point, a little more consistent to what we've seen in her first
4 and
match.
4.
So Beth Jen
All
gets
right.
a 10-point win over
takes
Gina
that.
Feenstra, 46 to
46 to
36.
36.
Jen improving to 8 and 13 on the season.
Yeah, so Beth Jen with a really consistent round, as you can see there, 3 4s to get the night started, then 3 5s, and then she found her first bullseye there on the 7th throw for a nice score of 46. She was very close. We talk all the time about not every 4 is the same as other 4s. She was very close to that 5 ring the entire time. She was very close to a couple bullseyes as well. So a nice showing from Beth Jen here in her first matchup. And then for Gina, she just was really erratic with the axe. As you can see there for Gina, she had that 3 there on her second throw, a little low. And then she overcompensated, and she had a 1 on her following throw as well. So just not a consistent match for her, but we expect better things from her in the future.
4 matches down, 4 more still to come here in week number 5. We'll bring them to you straight ahead here on Battle Axe. Welcome back to Battle Axe, coming to you from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Dania alongside Bobby Bradford. It's been an exciting start to week number 5, Bobby.
It's been a great night, Joey. We've seen a lot of tremendous matches here so far, and excited for this next slate that we have coming up.
All right, let's get right to it. Our next matchup here in week number 5, it's going to be Leroy Kedley, and he'll be taking on Justin Smith.
Yeah, so Justin Smith's first match of the night here, coming in at 13-7. We saw Leroy beat Jill Kedley in our first match of the night, actually, to improve his record to 16-5. But 2 really
5 and
consistent
5.
throwers. Justin, still new to axe throwing, but has really developed into a consistent thrower.
Yeah, this should be a good one. These two awfully similar in the way they go about things, and
Yes.
they're having similar seasons as you would expect. We'll see who gets the best of this one.
Yeah, both players, opting to play that middle of the board. They don't really get adventures going for those outside
Leroy.
bullseyes. Very close to being a bullseye there for Justin, though.
Yes, it did. That's a bullseye.
And as you can see there from the action cam, it does hit on the left-hand side of that blade. So Justin with an early 11-10 lead going into the third throw.
Well, as you said, Bobby, both Justin and Leroy like to just pepper the center of the board. We'll see if that's what Justin continues to do here in week number 5.
Well, I do like Justin's approach here to let Leroy throw first, because that will really kind of dictate whether he goes to those outside bullseyes or not. Even with a 1-point lead, you're still happy to trade points. And you'd rather have that information, but fortunately for Justin there on that third throw, that was a 5 as well. So able to pick up another point, 2-point lead here for Justin Smith.
And the way these two throw, a 2-point lead is a big advantage.
Correct.
They're very consistent with that 4 and 5 ring, and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
5, Leroy.
Yeah, it looks like that could be a 5 there for Justin if it's popping through in the bottom part of that blade. Ruled a 5 there for Leroy
4,
and
Justin.
a 4 for Justin. So very, very close call.
All right, last throw. Justin is up by, fifth throw. Justin
So
is
a
up by
1-point lead here for Justin Smith heading into the 5th throw. Leroy Kedley with a nice throw there. We'll see if it's a bullseye.
Yeah, we'll see if it's popping through on the left-hand side of the blade. And we'll have to get a closer look at Justin's, too, because if that's popping through on the right-hand side, that could be a 5.
4, Justin.
Ruled a 4 for Justin. Oh, and you can see it's so
So
close.
close.
But there was a little bit of that wood popping through in between that blade and bullseye. So
All right, touch him
still
up,
able to
touch him
tie
up.
this thing up going into the turn. But he wanted that bullseye.
6, you
No
guys are
doubt we
tied at
expected this
24.
one to be close. Go figure. We're all tied up heading into the second half. 24-all.
Yeah, because this goes back to our pressure throws. You know, Leroy staying consistently in the middle of that board has allowed, Justin has allowed the door to stay open, and this thing is all tied. He's not being the aggressor. But when your opponent doesn't make a mistake, Joey, it's very
4
hard to,
Justin.
lead the charge.
So Leroy Kedley picks up a point here after a 5, 29-28.
Yeah, the tone of this match has definitely shifted. Justin came out the gate pretty hot, and then Leroy is able to overturn that. And it looks like he's going to get another 5, and that could be a 4 there for Justin. So it looks like Leroy's going to be able to pick up another point.
Leroy.
Going to get confirmation here from Cody, though. As you can see, it's kind of popping through there on the right-hand side, but it's so close.
I'm still saying 4. You can get a second opinion.
Looks like that's going to be ruled a 4, so 32-33. Leroy up by 1.
3 straight 4s from Justin Smith. He's got to get out of the vortex if he wants to come out on top in this one.
Yeah, because Leroy's hitting that 5 ring pretty consistently, and it looks like that could
Leroy.
be a bullseye there for Justin. Cody's getting his steps in today. Going to get a closer look here
Bullseye, Justin.
and ruled a bullseye.
So Justin
All right,
Smith
throw
with
9.
a
You guys
big
are tied
bullseye
at
when he
38.
needed it most. Just like that, we're tied up. 38-all, 2 throws to go.
And Leroy's feeling it. He's wasting no time. Threw an axe there, and it looks like that could be a bullseye there for Leroy. And unfortunately for Justin, he's already hit that bullseye, so that will be a 5.
5, Justin, and 5, Leroy.
And ruled a 5, so big ruling there on Leroy's throw, which looked like it was going to be a bullseye. And Leroy's getting a closer look,
Yeah,
knowing
remember, you already got the.
how stressful or how meaningful this point is here.
So Leroy Kedley wants to get another set of eyeballs on this one. Cody's going to come in and give it a closer look.
Yeah, Cody kind of judged it from the back line, getting a closer look. We'll see if it's still ruled a 5 if Leroy wants
I'll
to
get
get a second. But Cody changes his tune and rules that it is a bullseye. So 44-43 going into the
Leroy's
10th
up by
throw
1,
here.
throw
Talk
10.
about pressure throws, Joey. You're going to see one or 2.
It all comes down to this.
Leroy with a nice 5 there. Justin has to go for one of those outside bullseyes. And he knows it. Oh, and he is so close.
He
Five,
might
Leroy.
have it. Cody's going to get a look at it. See if the top part of that blade.
Oh, man. It's deceiving how the blade is hitting into the wood. So rule to 3. We'll see if Justin wants a second opinion here. Opting not to get a second opinion, but wow.
All right,
What a
Leroy
high-pressure
takes that
throw and
49
oh
to
so close,
46.
Joey.
Well, what a match this was. Our best match of the week thus
Yeah.
far. It's Leroy Kedley winning by just a matter of centimeters. Had Smith gotten that bull, we'd be playing
Going-
sudden death right now.
We'd be going for sudden death, and I like to see Justin being the aggressor, going for that outside bullseye, knowing that he needs those points to take this thing into sudden death and to see how this thing would play out. But he was very, very close. These are two really consistent throwers, and you can see what happens when no one really kind of runs away with it. It all comes down to that one throw. So unfortunately for Justin, he was unable to hit that bullseye on his 10th throw. And then kudos to Leroy, very consistent. Only the one bullseye there on his 9th throw, but everything else 5s and a couple 4s. So a nice score, 49. He improves his record to 17-5.
A great season for Leroy Kedley thus far. Justin Smith going to dust himself off and get right back out there. He'll be taking on Beth Jen.
Yeah, don't waste any time. Just get back on that horse and start to ride it. So 13-8 for Justin Smith and Beth Jen at 8-13 with a nice matchup versus Gina Feenstra. And looks like a 4 there for Beth. And just keep that train on rolling. Justin Smith with a nice bullseye.
So Justin Smith isn't going to let the way things wrapped up in his last matchup carry over into this one. A great start here against Beth Jen.
Well, when you're throwing hot like that, you don't really want to take a break. You just want to keep it going.
Yeah, that can be a big advantage.
Absolutely. That's what happens in the tournament, Joey. The players that kind of keep on playing, especially the ones that come back from the B bracket and they're waiting for the A bracket champion. You're kind of sitting there if you're the winner of the A bracket. You're sitting there and waiting for your opponent. So the B bracket winner does come in with a little bit of momentum.
Only downside to that is the fatigue factor.
Fatigue.
That certainly plays a factor.
Yes, it does. But that's why we train, and that's why these are some of the best throwers in the world. Looks like a 4 there for Beth. And another nice consistent throw.
Beth.
Could be a 5 if it's popping through in the left hand or right hand side there. Very close. Oh, I think that's going to be a 4, Joey.
I'm going to say 4.
And it looks like it's confirmed a 4. As you can see there from the side cam, there was black on the right-hand side of that blade.
So a 15-12 advantage for Justin Smith after the first 3 throws here against Beth Jen.
Yeah, Beth Jen still looking to hit that bullseye. Very, very close, but hard to get adventures going for those outside bullseyes if you don't hit your first one.
5, Beth.
Yeah, she has not had her best stuff tonight. She's capable of so much better, and she does that on a consistent basis. Some nights, though, you just don't have it.
Absolutely. Well, in Justin's last throw there, I don't think he was going for that outside bullseye. I think he just held on the axis a little bit too long. So, fortunately for him, that's a 3. So we'll see what he decides to do if he was just holding on to the axe a little bit too long. It looks like that's what it was. Able to get one of those points back. Still 23-21 going into the turn.
So now Justin Smith will switch sides with Beth Jen. We'll see who closes this one out in the second half.
Well, and sometimes just changing sides can really help. We'll see if Beth can find that bullseye. And it looks like Justin may have it on the left-hand side of that blade.
It looks like the top of Beth's blade might be into that 5 ring as well, and it is. So Beth Jen with a nice 5, and Justin Smith with the answer to keep it a 2-point advantage.
Yeah, Justin happy to trade points at this point. Beth has to start finding the bullseye game here soon. It looks like that's going to be a 5 there. And Justin with a nice throw, very close to being a bullseye. I thought he would get a closer look at that and challenge it, but he accepts the ruling. Again, still happy to trade points.
33-31, Justin Smith leading with 3 throws to go.
What I do love about being in week 5, Joey, is we get these high-pressure throws. These players have been competing for 5 weeks now. They know each other's game. They knew coming into this game that it was going to be a close match.
5, Justin. 5, Beth.
But we get to see a bunch of just really high-pressure throws. 3 consecutive 5s for both players. Still a 2-point game.
All right,
a lot of options here for Beth.
Justin's up by 2.
Great consistency here from both of these players. We'll see who can score on that center bullseye. Beth Jen could really use it right here.
We're a little close. It looks like that could be a 5 there for Beth. And that could be a 5. Oh, and from the action cam, that's a bullseye there for Beth. So she is able to get off the schneid and have a bullseye when she needs it the most. Let's see if she can do it again.
Well, another nail-biting finish here on Battle Axe. A 1-point lead for Justin Smith with 1 throw to go here against Beth Jen.
You can see Beth lining up for one of those outside bullseyes. Justin, the model and consistency here.
The door is open. And Beth Jen, I think she got it.
I think she got it.
We are going to sudden death for the first time here in week number 5. Beth
right.
Jen with ice in her veins.
Wow, that was an incredibly high-pressure throw, Joey. And with ice in her veins, she found the bullseye when she needed the most. 2 consecutive bullseyes to send this thing into sudden death. We'll see who comes out the victor. Beth off the mark. We'll see how Justin fares here. Ooh, and I think Justin is closer. He's going to be taking it.
It's closer than it would appear. So Cody's going to come in and get a closer look
Yeah.
and just make sure that it's Justin Smith who's closer to that kill shot.
Yeah, it is a little closer than it appears from the naked eye. Cody getting up closer.
Yeah, Justin, you
And
take
Justin does take it, though.
it. Nice job.
So Justin Smith getting the win over Beth Jen in sudden death. But I loved what we saw from both of these competitors.
Right.
The high-pressure throws, and they made them when they needed to.
Oh, this was a heavyweight bout. Beth falls to 8-14. Justin improves his record to 14-8. But as you can see there, Justin, from the 5th throw on, all 5s, just a model of consistency. And he really forced it on Beth to be able to make that throw, hit that bullseye to force this thing into a sudden death. And then kudos to Beth. She hit that bullseye there in her 9th throw when she needed it the most. And then she lined up for that outside lower right bullseye. And then she was just nails and hit that. Unfortunately for her, the kill shot, she was a little off the mark. But this has to be an incredible motivator for Beth Jen going into the rest of the matches this week and then throughout the regular season, because her strategy is starting to pay off. She's throwing very consistently, and we know what that can lead to.
Well, we've still got a couple matches to go here in week number 5, including this week's first look at the defending champion, Matt Bradshaw. We'll bring it to you straight ahead here on Battle Axe. Welcome back to Battle Axe here at the Busted Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby the Blade Bradford. It's been an exciting week number 5 of competition as we look forward to a double elimination postseason tournament to crown a champion. That's right around the corner.
Absolutely, and we got a couple more matches here tonight, Joey.
Let's get to it. And Welp will be taking on Eric the Scope Shizzle. Our first look at the Scope and Welp tonight.
Yeah, so again, Eric throwing with his left hand after having elbow surgery before the season starts, but he comes in at 8-12. And then Ann Welp at 10-10 with a nice throw to get this match started. It looks like that's going to be a bullseye. And a 5 there for Eric, so. And not intimidated by the scope. That was a nice bullseye. We'll see what she does with her strategy from this point on.
A great start here for Ann Welp, who comes in with 10 wins and 10 losses on the season. See how aggressive she gets right here on throw number 2.
Well, Ann has really taken steps with her game as well, becoming a very consistent thrower within that 4, 5, and 6 ring. Being aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes has not been something that she's done consistently, but that is the next part of her progression as a thrower. But she's eliminated the drop. She's found a nice, consistent release point. The axe is hitting into the wood, nice and flush.
And when it comes to aggressive competitors, nobody more aggressive than Eric the Scope Shizzle. He loves to go outside and try and hit all those bullseyes.
Absolutely. He's very aggressive. He likes to put the pedal to the metal, be the aggressive thrower. Unfortunately for him, he is off the mark there.
Stuck in the vortex right now are Ann Welp and Eric the Scope.
Yeah, but Ann, it's just, you can't say enough about the progress that she's made, climbing the leaderboard, really making great strides with her game. And Eric, again, finding the vortex.
For Eric.
Both players really are kind of stuck in the vortex right now here,
For
Jay.
Ann.
So Ann Welp clinging to a 1-point advantage over Eric the Scope
All right, fifth
after
throw.
the first
Ann is up
4
by 1.
throws. We'll see if Welp and Shizzle can get out of the vortex here on throw number 5.
And we've talked about Eric before in the past, throwing with his left hand. Always something to mention. That it's incredible that he's throwing with his left hand when you know how dominant of a thrower
5.
that he can be with his right hand.
And 5.
So a couple 5s there, so they're out of the vortex, but no ground gained or lost.
And Welp
All right,
will
catch
take
him up,
a
catch him up.
1-point lead into the second half here against Eric Shizzle. We'll see how things go now that these two have switched sides.
Yeah, so I guess Ann found the bullseye there on her first throw, so that will reset. And it looks like that could be a 5 if it's popping through on the right-hand side of that blade for
5
Ann, and it's a
4
4
Eric.
there for Eric. So Ann able to get another point, 28-26, going into the 7th throw.
We'll see how Ann plays this now that she's got a 2-point advantage, but she still hasn't hit that center bullseye, so until then, no reason not to go for it.
Absolutely. And Eric has shown no signs of hitting that bullseye. So I guess you wait until he hits that bullseye, and then you kind of make a corresponding decision.
For Ann, for Eric.
But Ann definitely happy to trade points here with 3 throws to go.
And Welp still up by 2. Eric the Scope needs to get hot, and he's certainly more than capable of doing that.
Well, we saw it in the match with Beth Jen and Justin Smith. You know, those last 2 throws there by Beth Jen was what allowed her to come back in that thing and start a sudden death. So Eric definitely has it in him,
For Eric.
but he is not finding it here so far through 8 throws.
For Ann.
So still a 2-point lead for Ann Welp. 2 throws to go.
All right.
Doesn't
ninth
get
throw.
more
Ann's
exciting
up
than
by
this.
2.
You feel like the Scope's going to make a
Going up
big
on
move,
one.
and here it comes. He's going for a kill shot.
Absolutely. Maybe he was just baiting us all. He knew it would be better television if he was down a little bit and then went for a kill shot.
Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go.
Looks like a 4 there. And Eric is off the mark. He
Miss
knew it.
and a 5.
And it ruled a 5 there for Ann Welp, actually. So popping through on the right-hand side of that
All right,
blade.
last throw. Anna's up by 7.
Well, no reason for the Scope not to go for it again. It's his only chance at getting a victory. And Welp looking to pound in the dagger here.
Yeah, Ann needs to throw a 1 or a drop, and she sticks it in the board, so she will come away the victor. But Eric, see if he can hit that kill shot, and he does.
For Ann.
A slight moral victory there for Eric the Scope.
Kill up.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Shot, Eric.
that's bigger than you would think, because the more practice you get hitting those kill shots out here on
Takes
this
that,
stage,
45,
Yeah.
42.
it's going to pay off in the postseason. But it's Ann Welp getting the win over Eric the Scope, 45-42.
Yeah, a win is a win, and Ann improves her record to 11-10. Really consistent match here from Ann Welp. She had that bullseye there on her first throw to get the night started, and then nothing but 4s and 5s for a nice score of 45. And we always talk about how not all 4s and 5s are the same. She had a lot of consistent 4s, very close to being the 5s. We know those can lead to bullseyes, and then a progression of a player's game. And then for Eric the Scope, he was kind of all over the board a little bit. I mean, he did have nothing but 4s and 5s. Rare to see Eric the Scope not hit a bullseye in a match. He did go for the kill shot on his last 2 throws. Unfortunately for him, he was off on the 9th, but had a nice kill shot there on the 10th throw to make his score 42.
Well, one final match to come, and we've saved the best for last. It's the defending champion, Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, taking on Beth Jen.
Yeah, we'll see if Beth Jen, like Justin Smith, can carry over her good match into this match. We'll see the first time of seeing Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. We'll see how his night gets started. And looks like a 5 there for Matt, and
Matt.
could be a 4 for Beth if it's not popping through on the bottom part of that blade. And ruled a 4, so not the start Beth wanted. Fortunately for her, though, Matt only threw a 5, so it could be worse.
Yeah, anytime you're going up against Bradshaw and he throws anything that's not a bullseye, you got to consider that a victory.
Absolutely. And there, Beth with a nice throw. It looks like a bullseye, but not to be outdone. Almost a
bullseye.
carbon copy throw is Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw.
Jen and Bradshaw with a little high five. These two have the utmost respect for one another. That's what makes this league so special.
Well, and Beth has learned so much from Matt because Matt, you know, he's a gracious competitor, loves this league. Beth going for that outside bullseye and off the mark, but Matt, the Magic Man Bradshaw, hits
Bullseye,
it.
Matt.
So 2 consecutive bullseyes.
Yeah, you figure Beth knew that Bradshaw would go for the outside
Correct.
bullseye, and she knows if I've got any chance in this thing,
Yep.
I got to hit those outside bullseyes as well.
And we've seen Matt miss those outside bullseyes, so Beth definitely being aggressive. And Matt, wow, looks like that's going to be a unicorn there. And Beth returning to the middle of the board. You saw that she was lined up to go for that outside bullseye, but elected to go back to the middle of the board, feeling more consistent with that throw.
3 consecutive bullseyes for the Magic Man. Early on in the season, he had some struggles
Right.
with the outside bullseyes, but now he is really dangerous, hitting them with remarkable accuracy.
Well, and it's all, you know, I think with Beth Jen's strategy, she knew that if she went for that outside bullseye again and hit a 3 and Matt hits another 6, which he did, all of a sudden that gap is
right,
huge
that's
and almost insurmountable. At least going into the turn here, it's 22-26. You're down by 4. That's still within kill shot range if that's what it comes down to.
So here we go for the second half between Bradshaw and Jen.
Looks like a 4 there for Beth. And a flush bullseye
Bullseye,
for
Matt.
Matt the
5
Magic
Beth.
Man Bradshaw. Oh, and ruled a 5, though, for Beth, so it must have been popping through on the left-hand side of that blade.
5-point lead for the Magic Man. This is the danger zone for Beth Jen.
Correct.
She needs to start hitting those bullseyes and then hope for some mistakes, if you would call them mistakes, from the Magic Man, and then maybe get a kill shot or two along the way as well.
Yeah, it looks like a 5 there for Beth Jen, and ruled a 3, but from the action cam, Joey, it looked very close to being a bullseye there for Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw.
Yeah,
So
when
he-
Bradshaw makes a mistake, he doesn't make it by much. He
No.
might have just missed that bullseye, but this is exactly what Beth Jen needs right now.
Cody gets a second look here, and he rules that it is a 3, but we'll see if Matt wants a second opinion. You see, as you can see there from him pulling out that blade, Joey, there was just a
You're
sliver of
at
wood, so it was the right call, but man, was it
Number 8.
close.
Yeah, looks like the right call, though, there from Cody, and Beth Jen suddenly within 2 now.
Absolutely, able to make up a couple points, and looks like that's going to be another 5 as well. And off the mark again, so back-to-back 3s, something we rarely see out of the Magic Man. And all of a sudden, he has
All
a
right, throw number
1-point lead
9.
over
Magic Man's up by
Beth
1.
Jen.
Going up on left.
So this
Over
one getting awfully interesting. We'll see how aggressive Bradshaw continues to be now that Jen has climbed back into this one.
And I believe he just called for the kill shot, so he wants
Well-
to create some separation here.
Can't get more aggressive than that. Here we go. Bradshaw looking for the
Ooh,
dagger.
wow.
I think he got it.
For
I
Beth.
think he did too. Like it was popping through on the bottom part of that blade, and looks like that could be a 4 there for Beth Jen.
Hit.
And so he did hit that kill shot. 5-point lead, 46-41 going into the 10th throw.
All right, last throw.
Matt Bradshaw making a huge throw to put himself
No, you have
in
not.
position for another win here
And I-
to remain unbeaten. But hang on, he's going for another kill shot.
Going for another kill shot. I thought he kind of was thinking about it. You could kind of see the gears were grinding there for the Magic Man.
So that looks like a 5 from Jen. If it is and he misses, we're
Ooh.
going to sudden death.
Wow.
And it looks like that's what we're
miss.
doing.
That's the case because that is a 5. Cody's going to get a closer
Get a
look, but I
5.
think it's popping through on the left-hand side of that blade. So, you can see there from the side cam, Joey, that's really close to being a
All
bullseye.
right.
She might want a
Sudden
second
death.
just to see if that's a
Hang
bullseye.
on, we
you
might
know?
have a winner here from Beth Jen. Gina
Hey.
Feenstra is going to go check it out.
It's worth it, and as you can see there, it's just a little sliver. It is a 5, so we are going to sudden death, but very, very close.
Drama here at the Bustin' Axe throwing range. What a finish we have in store here in week number 5. Sudden death between Matt Bradshaw and Beth Jen.
Yeah, Matt Bradshaw's undefeated season coming down to this throw, and Beth is off the mark. It comes down to Matt, and he sticks the landing.
Takes that.
Bradshaw
Wow.
remains unbeaten. He pulls out the sudden death
46,
victory
46.
with
Matt
another
takes
kill
that.
shot.
Well, Matt is a master of those high-pressure throws. He's been there time and time again. He's been to world championships, so he knows what it feels like to go for the kill shot when the game's on the line, and he just proved it there, improving his record to 21-0 with a really nice score of 46. You can see he had that unicorn there on his second through the 4th throw. He did have 3 threes on this scorecard, something I'm sure he's not too thrilled about, but he did pull away when it mattered the most and hit that kill shot. But for Beth Jen, she was able to take that momentum that she took from the Justin Smith match, and she took it right over here to go up against Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. She had that bullseye there on her second throw. Only 1 3 on the scorecard, something I'm sure she's pretty happy about, but everything else was 4s and 5s. She's starting to find that release point and getting dialed into going for those outside bullseyes.
And this match, a perfect example of what can happen when we get to the postseason.
Yes.
When you go for those outside bullseyes and you miss, you get 3s, and all of a sudden the Magic Man
Yep.
is beatable.
Yep.
Time now for our post-game wrap-up.
Yeah, no surprise here as we can see Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw still at the top of the heap at 24-0, averaging an impressive 55.1 points per match, followed by Leroy Kedley, Michelle Fremeld, Ann Welp, Justin Smith, Eric Shizzle, Jill Kedley. Beth Jen moves up 1 spot from the 9th spot to the 8th, followed by Gina Feenstra, and rounding it out is Nancy Kramer. Just a tremendous group of competitors and really looking forward to this tournament.
Well, for Bobby Bradford and the entire MC22 crew, this is Joey Danya signing off. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Battle Axe.